Hi there, and welcome back to those of you who were following Uranus and Taurus, and then Uranus going through the other fixed signs, Scorpio, Leo and Aquarius, that I did on the other two videos. Now I'm going to talk about the signs Virgo, Capricorn, Cancer, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius. And those signs, along with the other signs on the fixed cross, that's to say Virgo, Capricorn, Pisces and Cancer, are going to be in an angle to the current transit of Uranus, which is pretty beneficial, particularly Virgo and Capricorn, because those signs are going to be in a 120-degree angle to Uranus, and that won't be as challenging as the signs Taurus, Scorpio, Leo and Aquarius, where there's a very powerful and sometimes conflicting, intense influence coming through. These signs, Virgo, Capricorn, Cancer and Pisces, are going to be getting the smoother, more harmonious energies coming through to them, particularly Virgo and Capricorn. So from beginning of May 2018 all the way through until 2025, you're going to have Uranus in a very positive angle to your sun sign, both you Virgo and Capricorn sun sign people, but also if you've got Virgo and Capricorn or Capricorn rising, depending on the degree of the rising sign. So if you know the degree of the rising sign, it'll be after that rising sign degree that these ideas will apply. But also if you've got important points or ruling planets, or just any planets actually, in either of those signs, Virgo or Capricorn, again depending on the degree, when Uranus by transit goes over the degree, and actually 3 degrees either side of that degree of whatever that is you've got in Virgo and Capricorn, you'll be feeling that influence most strongly. So those of you who know the degrees in your natal chart will be able to expect that and see that coming. And the sort of idea behind that is that when Uranus locks on to Sun, Moon, planets, any important points in either of those signs, then it'll trigger a series of changes. Some may be pretty short term, could take you by surprise. Some could be longer term and also might take you by surprise as well. It'll be the sort of things that maybe you hadn't been a long time kind of plotting and planning to do. It would be something maybe that you'd left behind you in somewhere in your past, and all of a sudden you see that this is the moment to actually really get involved in that. So for you Virgo or rising or planets in Virgo, after the degree of where Uranus is currently. So month by month Uranus is going to be changing the degree. Uranus is at about 6 degrees at the moment of Taurus. So this is an excellent time for you to study or to get educated on which buttons to press or which switches to throw or which stitches to do, or crafts or arts. It could be something technical or just anything. So this is the time for you to be broadening your understanding on some kind of subject or field of knowledge. Or indeed, for some of you, this is the moment that you have to turn around all that stuff that you've been boning up on all these years and actually share that with others, really put that out there into the world so that it can help others in the way that it helped you. And this may be a time when you could get into something a little unconventional, a little offbeat, like astrology, or something which is more spiritual, which is maybe you stretching yourself into and reaching and stretching your concepts, your belief, your understanding into new areas. So it could be something spiritual, it could be something very, very down to earth. Of course, with Uranus and Taurus, we like to be practical and down to earth. However, into my mind, being able to do anything which is going to help this planet's frequency and all the beings on this planet's frequency to rise is pretty practical and down to earth. But maybe I don't think, I'm not thinking in the right way. But that's just the way I've always thought. So not away with the fairies at all, just kind of a kind of matter of fact, yeah, this is the way we need to go now. So suspending disbelief and going towards that which you need to expand. You need to expand your understanding. I say you are being invited to, with Uranus in Taurus until 2025, very much being invited to. So even those of you that turn around your knowledge, your experience into teaching or indeed writing, I mean, communications is extremely strong in the area that Uranus is going to be in for you for all these years. And some kind of self-expressive media or medium for you. And along the way, you may cross paths with very unusual influences or people or beings, or find yourself very stimulated in a way which then gets you thinking along a very different track. And Uranus here could also lead you, some of you, down, you don't have to be in these abstract kind of esoteric areas. You can be going down the path of just doing a course, I mean, that should have been the first thing I said. Yeah, doing a course, signing up for something. I mean, it might be something academic, or it might be dancing, or, like I said earlier, arts and crafts, that kind of thing. Also, this is important as well. Uranus is about a collective. It's always about a group. So you could get involved in some kind of collective, some kind of group, which is helping take conscious awareness further forward, and helping to again expand a collective's conscious awareness. So this is very much up your street during this long transit of Uranus in Taurus, Virgo. Also, you could be changing your philosophy of life at this time. You may be reflecting, as many of us are during this time of enforced retreat, really. And because you've done that, you've let go of maybe some entrenched habits or patterns that were not serving you or others very well. And then that frees you up. Uranus is all about freedom. This is parallel actually with Neptune opposing your sign. So your sun sign or your rising sign or one of the planets in Virgo. So depending on what that degree is. But Neptune is currently around about 17, 18 degrees of Pisces. So that again could mean that you want to put yourself out more for others. But also Neptune can have an undermining effect. It can have a delusory effect. So separate the needy from the greedy. Separate the sensitive from the senseless, I suppose, and try to get more of an understanding of what your soul needs, what your self needs, your higher self, your spiritual self needs, and that of others. Now, for Capricorn suns or rising signs or any planet in Capricorn or important point, depending on the degree of that, this could be an excellent time to explore new ways to express yourself artistically. You could suddenly meet someone who is going to motivate you into, again, a new type of creative thinking, or indeed it could be a romantic connection during this transit of Uranus. Went in there in 2018, going to come out in 2025. The thing about Uranus, it's an erratic, spasmodic energy. So I would definitely wait until the Uranian transit was finished before I decided to consolidate, set in stone any kind of new relationship. Because it's very, like I say, it's very, it's erratic. it changes. It's very changeable. So you also could be joining in with others, because Uranus loves groups, loves a club or a collective. And you could be joining in with others who have certain interests in common. You could become involved in something related to the leisure or entertainment industry, theatre, anything where you can connect with creative people, or connect creatively, or connect in with your own creative core. And you may be experimental at this time. You need to try it this way, you need to try it that way, you need to see how that works, you need to see how that goes, you know. It's a little bit like that. So you play around, you're playing around with new approaches and techniques, or with, like I say, new relationships, that kind of thing. Children come under this area of your chart. Young people, animals may be going through changes in their lives. Means you have to adapt and coordinate. It may mean that the dynamic between children or animals and yourself is different, and you have to adapt to that. There could be a sort of intermittent or unconventional quality in any of those types of relationships there. And you may be seeing your relationship with children, animals, or with your creativity in a different kind of a way. Just something kind of drops out of a clear blue sky, and it's like, oh, yeah, okay, now I get that. This transit will provide opportunities for you to identify more strongly with your sense of power, and you could get some good feedback, but you're going to be playing around, you're going to be experimenting as well. It's better to be conscious about it rather than just be kind of frantically juggling things around. However, sometimes it just works out that way. And then we just hit upon something which is the aha moment. So you likely feel more appreciated, though, at this time. But like I say, it is a very it is a very changeable energy. So once that energy of transformation and a breath of fresh air, and sort of like new beginnings with things, or new ways of doing things, or new ways of acting in a dynamic with somebody else, has gone away and gone into the next sign, which is Gemini, going in there in 2025. You want to make sure that when all the dust is settled and things get more kind of humdrum again, that you're quite happy with your choices. So now's the time for play, experimentation, but not to kind of put a ring on it, as it were. Okay, so you're likely to be able to feel like you can express your creativity and your identity in a freer manner during this time. Now, for you Cancer rising or Cancer sun people, Uranus is in an opportunistic, highly progressive area for you, allowing you to pick up on something that you left behind you maybe years ago, which you thought wasn't going to work, or you weren't sufficiently interested. Or it could be that a long-held aspiration or hope will now begin to come together. It now will begin to come true. And it could also mean that there is change in the way that you associate, or with friendships, or indeed you're making new associations and friendships at this time. But the manner in which it's happening, or the manner in which, or rather not the manner in which, but the subjects upon which you share, interests you share together, are changing at this time. And in fact, that could change again and again, because this is experimental time, right? Until Uranus goes off into Gemini, and that'll be a completely different kettle of fish. So advice or shared experience will mean that you stimulate each other, you're sharing with each other, and learning from each other. And it could be that this helps people gain understanding, but change mental perspective as well. Uranus is revolutionary, of course. Depends which level of Uranus you're tapping into, but Uranus can be quite the revolutionary. And you'll feel as though you want to get involved in some kind of movement there to really change the planet. Hopefully it's a positive one. But eyebrows may be raised because you are behaving differently, you're acting differently in maybe your choices and your lifestyle, and your interests. Or you may notice that friends and associates are getting more stuck in the mud and you don't have as much in common anymore. And it's unlikely that it would be you because you're the one who's got Uranus in this area. But if it is you, and I don't want to sound gloomy here, but I do find with the planetary energies, unless we get out ahead of them in our understanding of what it means, that kind of the cosmic weather that's coming, then that universal mind will make a choice for us. When it comes to Uranus, which is sudden shocks and upheavals, we really don't want that universal mind to make the choice for us. So make your own choice, get out in front of the curve, and get into new things with people. And don't stay stuck in the past. This is very much a time for moving forwards. It's an extraordinarily opportunistic time for you to move forward into new things. And you need to have an open mind, be mentally flexible, adaptable, and Uranus will open you up to new horizons. But community efforts are very, very well starred here. Networking, social media, etc. Very positively highlighted. Now, swiftly moving on to Pisces. Uranus is also in a favorable transit for you Pisceans in an area governing communications, education, social connections. Very much a time for learning new stuff, but getting out there with the word. Slowly over this transit, your mental perspective will change. You're learning how to be a better communicator. You're learning how to be a better listener, maybe. You are seeing the world suddenly in a different kind of a way. Your perceptions are opening up. This is quite interesting, having Uranus here, because in fact there could be a feeling of shifting into other dimensions at times, and very much, even if it's not that, then it's a feeling of this is a new reality. I'm seeing this differently. I'm seeing a new truth here. Also, I think you will notice things that you haven't noticed before within your locality. Just what's around you in your environment. Your perceptions will open up there, and some of your preconceptions will start dissolving away. So rigid thinking, there's no place for rigid thinking here. Rigid thinking needs to be melt away, and you'll feel excited about the new worlds that you're discovering. Remember, you've got Neptune in your sign as well. It's very much about dissolving the things. So intellectually, physically, emotionally, stimulating new concepts, maybe flooding your brain. And listen to the guidance. Listen to feel the energies, feel out into space with your mind. Stop thinking and feel out into space with your mind. Obviously don't do it while you're driving, or cooking, or chopping up onions, but do it when you're in a safe kind of place. Science and technology is also emphasized. Maybe you're going to be educating yourself about that, using that more. Offbeat interests like astrology, like naturopathy, like the occult, like quantum physics, like string theory, like really getting more into the understanding of multidimensionality. So you will be confronted by a very different kind of knowing at this time, and everyday communications take on a new significance, and you could be dialoguing with the more subtle, finer areas of nature, the natural world, elementals and the like. So that's it. The last signs, Gemini, Sagittarius, Aries and Libra, will be on the next video. Uranus going through those signs. And those of you that are interested, I'll see you there.